Because I realized that I did when I lived in Muslim.
We can.
My kids were babies. That wasn't really okay. It was homesteading in a rural environment.
We can still hear you, Susan.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
just hold on a little bit, okay?
Okay.
You can mute your end too, but you won't hear me when I holler at you. Just take and hang on. Okay? Yeah, we're live right now talking about it. All right, Jules in the house. RG's in the house. We're going to get a few people in. We got some rain here in northern New Mexico. Hope everybody is doing good tonight. We'll let a few folks come on in. Got a big show tonight, folks. We'll move on up here. We're going to have to be up here kind of close. The rain has stopped, thank goodness. It was kind of noisy in here. I busted that light today, so I had to put a smaller light in there. So we have got quite a bit of stuff going on here tonight. We got folks that are have to turn that down there a little bit. Getting some feedback. We got some folks that are going to be with us tonight, special guests, and I'm going to take and I am going to introduce them here in just a little bit. Already got 7 folks in the chat. Make sure you take and you hit the thumbs up before you leave tonight, and take and stick around. We're going to do a giveaway tonight. I hope everybody's watched the crossbow video. We're going to have a giveaway tonight before the knocking over all our stuff back here. Before the live stream is over. So we got seven folks coming in. Make sure you drop a line. Let us know you're here. Real close here. We are going to be giving away this crossbow, just like the one in our video. We'll be giving that away tonight. Another trivia question before the night is over. I'm going to set that down here so I can reach it. We got 8 people in here, not Pathways here from Kansas. All the way from Kansas. You're in the dark again. We're going to get situated here, and we're going to do this interview. I don't know how I'm... Is that better, guys? Can you hear us okay, folks? They get that better? Okay. Got 10 people in. Okay. So, without further ado, we're going to get started with the interview. Tonight, we have Rob and Susan. They're in the house tonight from Blissful Acres Off-Grid Homestead. And they're going to be here. They're going to be telling some of their story. And we've got some big plans for this spring. So, Simple Life's here. All righty. Can you hear us, Rob and Susan?
Hi, this is Susan, and we are so excited to be here with you tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can everybody hear Rob and Susan okay? Do we need to make some adjustments? Somebody give me some feedback here. Everybody hear Rob and Susan? Yes? Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Just want to make sure you guys could hear them. So Rob and Susan are homesteaders. They are from northern Arizona, northwestern Arizona, and we're just going to jump right into this interview with them and let them kind of tell their story, okay? So Rob, Susan, however you guys want to work it out on your end, you guys can take and answer questions. Just kind of tell us about your location and kind of what the weather is, the climate, the terrain, that sort of thing. Okay.
That sounds like a great starting point. We have about, actually it's drizzly here now. We get about 8 inches of rain a year here. And it's warm in the summer. We've been up over 115 in the summer before here. We've actually lived on the property. It'll be 3 years in May, the middle of May. So this year has been pretty good. Love being here. It's definitely been an adventure in many different ways.
How far are you from town?
Okay, our little country stores and places like that. The gas station stop and little teeny post office that isn't actually run by the post office. Right, that one. It's about, 15 minutes away, Rob? Yeah. So, because we're on the dirt road, about 15 minutes to get off the dirt road, and then another 5-10 minutes to there. So about 15, 20 minutes to the main road.
How about a Walmart? How close are you to a Walmart?
Walmart is about a half hour, 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What did you guys kind of do before you decided to move off grid? What's kind of your guys' background?
Well, right before, we probably spent 10 years driving around the country in 1966 MCI. That was a Greyhound before it was converted in 87.
We've done that before. We know what that's like.
And we loved it. We loved it. And what I really appreciate about the bus now is how well Rob and the person who built it and what Rob did to it later was how organized that could be. Very different than where we are in our little 500 square foot home right now. Yeah, but think of it when we moved out of the big residential house and had to get rid of 99% of everything we owned to move into the bus. We did that too, and but yes, we lived on our bus probably most of our marriage.
Oh, really? Wow. How long have you guys been married?
16 years now? Maybe 18. Something like that. Anywhere between 16 and 18 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, we bought our bus and we moved into our bus and took our first trip out. Got a flat tire, had to get it fixed, but we have taken that bus all over the United States, to Alabama, back a lot of trips between Arizona and California, because at that time I had a lot of family in California, so that's where most of our trips was back and forth to California and Arizona. Up and down the coast. Yeah, and we did that. And then we spent time in Gallup when we broke down, when we bought the drop box. Yes, and had to get that done. We loved it though. This beautiful Sedona synergy has taken us all over. In fact, when we decided to buy our property, Rob drove our bus and had the big trailer behind that. And I drove our new to us pickup truck with our tow vehicle attached. And when we came out here to our property, I had to wear an eye patch because I had injured my eye and I saw double. And the only way I could drive was to keep the patch on. And we drove out here and it was great. It was great. We got here in the middle of May, so we hadn't hit all the hot weather yet that year and had no clue how hot it was going to get.
What kind of drew you guys to the kind of the alternative lifestyle, you know, the nomad, off grid, kind of out of the norm box. What drew you guys to that? Was it necessity, or was it your spirit, or you know what drew you guys to that?
We were really drawn, and some of it was necessity when we were looking for a place for a long, long time. Yes, we have been. And nothing really appealed. And then we found this place, and it was like, it has everything we want. We got here and looked at it, and the views all the way around. It's like, you know, a lot of places you get mountains in one area. Yeah. We're in this valley where you look around, there's mountains everywhere, and they're all, every direction is like 390. You'd like your front window to be anywhere in that 390 view. Right. Yeah. And back in 2013, we had moved out of the bus because the bus was needing repairs and updating. And so we rented a place. My girlfriend had a double wide that we rented. And my granddaughter was a baby and very young in California. So we stayed there for a few years. And we practiced canning because I had never canned much at all ever until that period. And canning and making tinctures. Exactly, making different tinctures and soap and doing those types of things. I figured, you know, it was something that we needed to learn how to do. And we started prepping at that point. We started buying food and things like that. But we also had to keep it because at that time, we thought we were going to be living and traveling in the bus full time. So we had to do it on a smaller scale. My daughter got sick, and we packed up and went to Texas to help her and to be with her. And so we stayed there for a year or two. Yeah, Austin, Texas. Okay. Yes, and we were out in Austin, and we looked around for property, couldn't find anything that we could afford, even in Bastrop and Elgin and different places. Temple, Rogers, different places that we looked. So I knew Texas wasn't going to be our dream home. And it didn't have everything. It wasn't perfect. Right. And so we did a lot of prayer work and a lot of focusing our energy. Rob decided we needed to get a generator, and I'm thinking he was insane to spend $900 on a generator. But we bought it because we didn't have any debt at that time, none. And we bought we had bought a freeze food dryer that I never would have bought if I'd known we were going to live off. No, we've been debt free forever. Yeah, we've always been debt free, which living in the bus allowed us to do that. Yeah. Because it was very inexpensive. Even if we went to an RV park and stayed for 5 months or a year or whatever, it was a lot less expensive than paying rent.
Sure. Let's catch up on the live stream here. Simple Life Reclaimed. I think you're following along. They said congratulations to you. They're talking about how hot it is. 115 is hot, but it's 116 when you really got to worry about it.
Exactly.
So,
well, the first summer we did get up to 125 here.
Wow, that's hot. That is hot.
And oh man, we'll get into all of it later, but oh my gosh, that first summer was something else.
What did you?
The place was gutted, right, when we got it. So there was no insulation. There was a swamp core didn't work, so when we first got here, I had to get that going. The well wasn't working, so I had to get all that going.
So when it hit that temperature, it was like you could only sit right in front of the popcorn with it blowing on you.
That reminds me of Tennessee. You have to sit right in front of the little air conditioner and stay cool. Not a fun time.
It was, you know, it was amazing. It really was. And as we were praying and focusing our energy, really, what you focus on expands. And we were able to find this piece of property. And we had looked at renting a place and decided, why rent? Maybe we can afford to buy something.
On an even keel says, is asking about the van. It was a Greyhound bus, the MCI. So if you've ever ridden on a Greyhound, that's kind of what kind of bus they had there.
So, but one of the old ones is a 35-footer, and it's all stainless steel.
Okay.
And underneath we had storage where they would put the suitcases and stuff. So we had all that storage on one side. And the other side we had, you know, propane tank, water and everything. So, and a generator. So we could go anywhere on our bus. And we could boondock. It was wonderful. Except that we wanted to get our own place. So we decided that we would buy our place out here because it had everything we asked.
Well, it just fell in. Kept asking, you know, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. You know, well, we need a place. And it's like, next thing you know, Susan was just rambling around in front of her deal. I found it! I found it!
You know, we were looking even before, because if you're doing your footwork to create a miracle in your life, you know, you check all avenues. And I checked with Habitat for Humanity out in Texas, and that wasn't going to work real well. And, you know, so I knew Texas wasn't it. And I really wanted to be close to my granddaughter and Ella and my son, who are in California. So I didn't want to go so far away that it was going to take us 8 hours to drive.
Yeah.
So that's another reason we focused on being close to them. Yeah.
And then your best friend was 3 hours the other way.
Yeah, and she was 3 hours the other way. My son's 4.5 hours away. And so being here in between Kingman and Bullhead was perfect for us. And we had everything we thought to ask for. Now that's a key word there, because we asked that we knew we wanted a well on our property. We wanted it at a price we could afford. We wanted acreage, and we knew we didn't need 200 acres, not for us. So we wanted at least 5 acres. And
we wound up with almost 8.
Yeah, we wound up with almost 8 acres, and we have a beautiful panoramic view. We're not an hour away from the stores. We're close enough that, because with us being older, Rob and I, we're in our mid-60s, so we need to be able to get into town.
I hear you. Let's catch up on the live stream here. We got Deborah Pageant in the house. Simple Life Reclaimed has really been, I made you guys a moderator there, Mel and Gary. I think you had some other neighbors there, or some of your friends who had checked in. They came on in. Anytime you see those, feel free to just chime right in, say howdy. Appreciate everybody coming in tonight. So we're talking tonight with Rob and Susan. Oh, North to Hope. Okay. North to Hope's in the house. We're talking with them about their off-grid experience, moving off-grid. Can you kind of tell us about your first year on the homestead after you've gotten there? You've kind of got through some of the preliminary things that's going on. Just kind of tell us about your first year and kind of what, you know, what you guys went through as far as your feelings, the emotions of it. Kind of tell us kind of what you went through there.
Well, we got here and we didn't have electricity. We had water if you wanted to walk down to the pump house and fill something and bring it to the house. And it was all gutted. The pump house was falling in. But the first thing is water, then food, then shelter.
Yeah.
You can live a long time without shelter, but you can't live hardly a couple of days without water and a week without food. So had to get the food going. So at first we're running just a generator. And in 1 month we must have spent about almost $2,000 in propane for the generator.
Wow.
Keeping things going. So I knew right then. By then I was done with the pump house. I said, I got to get solar.
And about 11 o'clock at night in the middle of summer, Rob would say, we got to turn off the generator. Well, we turn it off and it'd still be way too hot.
Yeah.
And I tell him, turn that on. We're okay. And we did. It was.
You were a little stronger in your talking when you did it.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't. Yes, I was very adamant. Oh, gosh.
If Mama ain't happy, nobody's happy.
That's right. And oh, gosh, I couldn't be happy. It was too hot. I was like the worst wilted lettuce there was.
Oh.
I'm a redhead.
And you were putting wet sheets on concrete to help cool it down.
I learned about wet sheets, hanging them up, putting them on the concrete, wrapping up in wet sheets.
Someone told you that's what their folks did in the Depression.
Yeah. Yep. And so that's what we were resorting to that. It was like I was not at all used to this kind of weather.
The desert's quite a shock. People
hadn't
been here.
It would cool down enough outside that we could sit outside and look at all the beautiful stars and the sunsets and even for me, which is really unusual, the sun rises because I was suddenly waking up early in the morning, and it was that alone was amazing. Dawn when the sun's coming up. Normally, I would go to, when I lived in in California or in Texas, I was going to bed at 2 and 3 in the morning and getting up whenever.
Yeah.
And once we moved out here, it's almost like my internal clock started to get in sync. And it was wonderful.
And another thing that really changed was your level of noise.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, first time we drove to town, it was like, we got to get out of here as soon as we can.
We know that feeling every time we go to our homestead. It's like a whole different world out there. You don't hear anything except for a plane every once in a while. So since you guys have been on your homestead, what, you told us about, where you were at, what you had when you got there. What kind of improvements have you guys done, and kind of what is the journey you guys have been on since you've been there? I know I've watched your videos. I've seen some of that stuff, but for some folks they might not have had. So taking, just kind of tell folks kind of about some of the improvements you've done and some of the steps you've taken to be more self-sufficient and that sort of thing, animals.
Well, the first thing we had to do was get the pump house going, because otherwise that was going to fall in on itself. So we actually explored around the desert and different places where people had left wood. We picked up wood, and we went from Home Depot and different places. We got used lumber when they were taking down their racks, and that's how we redid the pump house.
Cool. So you guys were really resourceful and scavenged, huh?
Took me about a month to redo the pump house. And it was just Rob. And he was pulling plywood up on it with from a pulley.
That's the only thing we bought was the plywood and then the snow and stuff for the roof.
Yep, and then after that, we and at this point we had plenty of hot water because we had it heating up in the hose.
Yep. Been there, done that.
As in scalding almost. So we took very quick showers, remember, Rob?
Yep.
And then we had, oh gosh.
Then I had to hook up 2 hoses so we had cold water and hot water. Very hot.
Yep, and then Rob, a few months after we got here, Rob started working on our solar. And when we were in Texas,
the pump house was done.
Yeah, and thank goodness he was, because we figured what we bought in the way of solar, if nothing else, we could always use it on the bus. Because at this point, at that time period, we were thinking we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know we were going to buy land off grid in Arizona or anywhere. We figured we might just be on the bus forever. And so he had bought, what was it you bought?
Well, some of it we bought after we got here.
But you spent the most.
I already had the inverter, the Magnum inverter, and all the Magnum parts.
What size inverter is that, Rob?
4 kilowatt, and then I got the T100, which will do 200. I think it's 250 volts worth of electricity, and it'll pump out from that converted, because I got the 24 volt, and we got maybe 3,000 on it, and I could put 3 times as much more on there solar wise.
How many panels do you have, and what kind of wattage are they?
I got right now we have 6. I bought 10, but we only have 6 out there on what you call a poor man's tracker. So if you wanted to track, you got to turn it.
Yeah, it's on a pole where you turn it to the sun.
And that digging the hole, I put that in was like all I had was one of those strobe bars. They weigh maybe 10, 15 pounds, and you pick it up and throw it into the hole. And I'd have to run out in about 15 minutes. I could throw it in and then run back in.
So we got folks here tonight. They're talking about free range cattle, and guys, we're going to get to that here in just a little bit. It's one of the reasons that we brought Rob and Susan on. So you guys hang on, and we're going to address the free range cattle there. Deborah says she's been canning meat all week. That sounds delicious. And just taking. And hang in there. We're going to answer everybody's questions. If you guys have any questions for Rob and Susan, make sure to drop them in the comments there, and we'll get to them a little bit at a time. So, do you guys have any animals on your homestead that you brought there?
Chickens.
Right now we have chickens, and we got a cat.
Yeah, we got a cat.
And Baymax is an amazing hunter. He loves it.
He's half Bengal.
Oh, okay.
And he had never been outside. When we first got him, he came from Levi, Susan's son. And we opened up the window one morning after he finally came out from under the bed and was sitting on the bed, and opened up the big picture window, and he looked out and he freaked out. Like he had seen outside before, but it was like there was a street and then another mobile home across, and that's all he could see. But he thought he'd see it for miles on end. He just went, oh my God, Molly. He went running.
Yeah, and our chickens, Jackie, and who's in the chat tonight, Deborah and Jackie, Jackie gave us 7 chickens. So my son and Rob and all of us got real busy.
I built the bottom part, and Levi did all the top part in the run.
And we got it all ready to rock and roll. So we now have 7 chickens, but in May we're going to get 25.
26. One free one.
Oh yeah, we get a free chicken.
How does the chickens do in the heat out there? Everybody's been asking questions about that.
We put a pool out there with some bricks in it and put it water in it, and they'd stand in there in the summertime. And we got some billboard tarp, and we put that across the top so they'd be in shade. And they did really good.
They did really good, and now we're getting baby chicks in May, and it's the Turkin, Turken chickens, and
Naked neck.
They're also known as naked neck chickens, and they are not a cross between a turkey and a chicken. They're all
no.
Yeah, funny looking, but they have about half the feathers actually than regular chickens, so they'll deal okay with the heat. And of course, since we're not going to free range, because we have so many predators out here, that we're keeping them in their pen, and they've got that billboard tarp over the top, so they're not going to get sunburned or anything. So I'm really excited about that too. Eventually, we'll probably have goats, but we're just not ready yet. There's no way, and that when we're there, I totally believe in being prepared rather than having to make do.
On an even keel's asking, where does one get a billboard tarp?
You know what?
There's a guy down in town that was selling them in Kingman for $80.
Wow. And they're a whole lot, for people who don't know anything about billboard tarps, they are a whole lot thicker and a whole lot more durable than just a regular tarp that you buy at Harbor Freight or at your local hardware store. So they put up with a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah, and they're like 15 feet by 80 feet.
Well, that's a lot of tarp.
A lot. And so we quite a bit still. I'm sure we'll use it. We just haven't needed to use all of it yet. But originally we had bought that because we were thinking of creating wind blocks. Because that's one of the things we realized out here on this property. I forgot to ask when I was praying for this beautiful land and perfect views and water on the property. Two things I forgot to pray for. One was a decent soil to grow in, and so it's real rocky out here. And the other one was a big shade tree and wind block. We have none.
So let's talk about your soil. If anybody's watched your videos, you guys can go over and check them out, but they have what's called caliche, and there's different types of caliche. But talk about some of the project that you guys have done. I know I watched your tree video and some of those things. So kind of talk about that and expand on that for those of them that's just joining. We got Jeff in the house. He's from Northwest Ohio. He's trying to gain some insight, he says. So there's a lot of folks that we can learn from past experiences from you guys. So kind of tell us about that, and would you have done anything different if you had known it was going to be the ground was going to be that hard?
No, with how great it is here, probably not.
So the struggle's worth it, huh?
No, we had to bring an excavator up, and to get in some of the bigger trees, we had to go 16.5 feet deep through the white concrete caliche before it would drain out.
Wow, that's tough. That's tough. So did you guys add dirt back into those holes, or how did you guys take and compensate for that?
Yeah, all amended dirt went in. We had truckload after truckload bringing topsoil up, and then the washes here, we went and got sand out of the washes and brought them up and mixed it together, and then got a bunch of compost and different stuff, and it was about 50-50 compost to the other, so we had biological matter in it.
We're talking hundreds of dollars just to refill some of those holes.
Wow.
Yeah, we still don't have.
We put in 9,000 putting those trees in.
Yeah, with the excavator and all the soil and everything that we needed to plant our
food forest.
15 to 18 trees in our food forest. It was about 9,000 for everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, would I do it again? Yes. And as I've been reminded before, Rob, we were planning on doing a container above ground gardening
And hydro.
in the very beginning, and hydro.
And then hydroponics and aquaponics.
Yeah, that's what.
But then we don't have the electricity to run the ponds and do this and do that.
So
we need a whole nother setup.
yeah. So we're working on it. Actually, this year, I think we're going to actually do self-wicking beds up here for our vegetables, and even to put grow some of our trees in. And the great big humongous white water totes that have the metal around it, cut it in half and use those totes to plant like our big trees in. So we've got a lot of plans. We're really loving being on our piece of beautiful paradise out here. Yeah, but one of these days our homestead will be very blissful.
It is now to me.
So that's because, you get so busy doing everything that needs to get done that the inside of the house is almost as unfinished as it was when we moved in.
Oh, wow.
You got insulation now.
Hey, I got insulation though. And
what's some of the lessons that you guys have learned in the 3 years of being on the desert that somebody wanting to move off grid or somebody wanting to move out to the desert? What's some lessons you could take and pass on to them? 3 or 4 good lessons that would take and help them before they kind of get in that situation.
Have money up front, because starting off grid, depending on what you want, and in our case, we wanted solar panels, and there were other things that we should have done when we first moved in, but the solar panels was what the biggie that we needed. So we had to make a choice there. And so save up about 3 times more than you expect it'll cost to begin with.
Yeah.
It's expensive. The upfront costs are expensive, but those solar panels have more than paid for themselves. And our solar panels, with Rob doing all the installation work, was about
today we probably put 10 grand.
About 10 grand.
Where it would have cost us about 50 grand for what we have to have someone else come and do.
Exactly. So that was a biggie. The other is know your land. Where does your water go? When it rains, we get so little rain that, that would have been another thing we would have planned for had we have really known what we were getting into, which would have been to get the rainwater system set up around the property.
So, do you have any rainwater catchment now?
Not yet.
Yet.
So we've got to get that one done, and planning on it. And actually, I'm hoping within the next 6 months we will have been able to start saving up for that project.
That one goes in.
Yeah. And
I think that's key. Well, very first thing, if you guys had a well, which was awesome, but for a lot of folks, a well's not not an option. And that rainwater catchments has got to be, first thing, get some gutters on whatever you put gutters on.
Right. And the other thing too, and people don't really stop and think, you don't know. I did not. I was I've had a roller coaster ride, honestly. It's like you get used to living, and you live a certain way for so many years that flipping on a light and turning on the iron and having the coffee pot going and sewing is like, too much, and if you don't have enough solar.
Especially in the middle of the night.
Yeah, when there's no sun. Now, I can do anything in the daytime hours because the solar's going. But at night, which is when I tend to do a lot of my creative stuff, it's a very different story. And so I would get frustrated. Also, I've been cooking on a camp stove since we've been here, so it's been almost 3 years now. And I can with that. I do my canning. I do most all my cooking with that. But we also bought a solar oven, and that has been one of the best investments we've ever made.
Oh yeah,
was our solar oven, and we use it all the time, even in winter.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Winter, it wouldn't work today because there wasn't any sun.
Wasn't any sun.
You're right.
Let's catch up on the chat here. It looks like that there's a lot of talking back and forth, and I like that. I like the community. Where's that? How long did it take to remediate your land and garden? I'm not sure about that. Remediate. How long did it take to get it back to where when you're putting your trees in and stuff like that? How long did it take that whole process from start to finish?
Probably 6 months. It took 1 day to dig all the holes.
1 day?
Yeah, he came up and dug all those holes.
Oh, yeah,
1 day.
with the excavator.
Some weren't deep enough, or we didn't realize that at the time, so then we had to do it. But we hired one guy that's local here, and he would come up and he'd say, I'm going to be there at 9 in the morning. He'd jump at 3 and say, well, I got to go to work now. So getting them backfilled in again. And took a friend of ours coming out, and Levi coming up, and me, and we just got a cement mixer and started mixing dirt and pouring them in the holes real quick.
Yeah. Levi's your son?
Levi is my son.
Susan's son.
And we had our friend Rudy, who is from Holland, and thank goodness.
Yeah, he came out to help.
He's like our adopted son, too, but he's been out twice, and he helped Rob to build our greenhouse. And when he came out this last year, he helped to dig holes with my son and Rob, and really took all 3 of them working heavy and hard to get all of these trees planted. And that was in December and January.
That's probably the best time to be working out there, though.
Yes.
Not in 100-degree weather.
All the way from Holland to help.
Wow.
Us out. Yeah, and he loves coming out. My son comes out and he gets so mellow. Levi comes out, and so they were really worked. So we've only had our trees in. This will be the
1
first
year. Just 1 year now.
Yeah, it's been.
How are the trees doing? Are they doing? Are they growing good in the soil? You guys have seen some new growth.
Are doing really well, but one peach tree got 8 totally top to bottom, just 6 left, and I don't think that one's coming back.
Yeah, but our trees are starting to bud out now. I'm hoping we don't get a freeze.
Yeah, and we're worried about the same thing here.
Yeah, and I think what we're going to end up doing with the trees is, plant squash under them, and some of them put sunflowers plants under, because they're kind of small. Some of them are pretty small, but we have both the nut and fruit trees, and
5 nut trees and 18 or so fruit trees.
I don't know. I think altogether we got 18, but and then we had bought shade trees, and we still have to get a bunch planted, and we have pomegranates too that we got to plant out. So that we had gotten that didn't get planted, but it was a process from the beginning to the end of a few months.
For those of you guys who are watching, thinking about moving to the desert, if you're gonna plant on trees, make sure you plant on the east side of the tree, because your sun has more power in the sunset So make sure you plant your plants on the east side of the trees. That way they get the morning sun. But as the day wears on and it gets hot, it's hottest between 3 and 4 in the afternoon, 3 and 5, right in there. It gets really hot, and they'll actually shade the plant that you're trying to grow under the tree. And you really want to take advantage of that, and make sure that you don't water first thing in the morning before the sun comes up, and not before the sun goes down, because you're going to cook those plants. Make sure you do it after the sun goes down. It has time to soak in and through the night, and it's going to do most of its work getting into the root base of those plants at night, and then it's going to take and it's going to do its work in the day. It's already going to be inside the plant, so don't want to cook those plants. I'm going to do a quick advertisement. We're going to be giving this crossbow away tonight. We're talking with Rob and Susan here tonight from Blissful Acres, Off-Grid Homestead. Going to be giving this away tonight, so you guys make sure that you take and hang around. We're going to have trivia question, and we're going to be giving this away, so make sure you hang on. So one of the things that I had in the title of the live stream was Homestead in Peril, and more people are coming to me, and they've got things that need to be done. They've got projects that are overwhelming to them, and they're needing some help. And one of the things that we talked about, Rob and Susan, was one of the problems that you guys were having. Can you kind of go into the problem that you're having and one of the realities of living, in a free range, open range type area?
Oh yeah,
your story.
my story on that one. We had a couple of months after we got our trees in. Okay, our brand new trees. They had fruit on them. We had almonds and we had peaches and plums already, because we had bought older trees. And so anyway, the free range cattle came through. We had our solar fence up. We thought it would be great, but there wasn't enough power going through it. I don't know, grounding or something. It's so dry out here. Something. So we had a sense of very false security. We thought we had our trees protected, but the cows went through and ate the peach tree. I was so bummed.
Ate all the nuts
ate all the almonds. We didn't even get one almond.
Wow.
I know. So anyway, at that point, I realized how important. We didn't get a peach either.
No.
Man. So anyway, lucky for us, they ate off the one side, and they really didn't bother the trees on the side they actually came in from. But we found out later, they didn't just bust through. They climbed, they scooted under the solar fence, and it popped the plastic little doohickeys that hold the wire.
The insulators.
Bottom one.
Yeah, the insulators.
They pushed the two bottom ones down, and then went under somehow. But when I was chasing them out, the kid got out easy.
The calf.
And one went through the back and just went right through the wire. But the mama behind the kid was almost like it got down on its hands and knees and was crawling. And I didn't know a cow could crawl.
And this was in the morning, and I was actually up. It was like 6 a.m. when we got out there, and they'd already had a good old time meeting. And you would think that cows would go to sleep when it's dark.
No.
But they don't. I can go outside at 1 in the morning, and we got beautiful cows, except my grandfather had a dairy up in Redding, California. Well, in Cottonwood, California, up by Redding. And he had a huge dairy, and when I was a little kid, I'd go up and I'd see these cows, and they'd be in their little cow feeder things, and he'd milk his cows and all of that. Well, I haven't seen a cow in my adult life other than one time from a distance. So to come face to face with them this close on the property, it was like, oh my gosh, they're huge.
Yeah, it's a little bit different experience up there face to face with one, especially in the middle of the night.
It is. So anyway,
from dairy cows too.
They are, and they are different. And these are in no way, shape, or form tame.
No.
Or domesticated. They're wild.
Yeah,
so they're more apt to go after you if they decide they don't like you.
They're used to defending themselves out there on the desert.
Well, they have to because there's so many other predators.
Somebody said, let's barbecue that cow.
Right.
They actually belong to ranchers. That's against the law. You can't barbecue the cow.
A lot of thoughts go through your head.
I'm sure after eating all the leaves on your trees and all the fruit on your trees.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you mentioned cows, is like, oh, okay. Well, our cat, Baymax, he'll hear the cows. He'll be inside with us, and he'll hear the cows outside, and he will alert us to the cows so we can go take care of them, and he can stay inside. He's a smart cat. But yeah, so anyway, a few months ago, in September, just before Rob's birthday, he had a really bad back injury. And so I got the perfect opportunity at that point to learn how to start the generator.
Take care of the plant.
Yep, and
chase the cow.
Water the trees, chase the cows, all of that.
You were doing it kind of all on your own, huh?
Yeah, I had to. Rob couldn't
flat on my back for 2 months.
Wow.
He couldn't even put his pants on. It was that bad. And forget putting socks on.
I hope everybody in the chat tonight. I hope everybody's enjoying Rob and Susan's story and kind of their journey here. I really want to take and really reemphasize this is the reality of living off grid, particularly on the desert. In Arizona, in New Mexico, there is some free range, open range, but it is. Hey, Nicole's in the house. Sorry guys, we've been listening to Rob and Susan here. Hadn't got a chance to tell everybody howdy. Really appreciate everybody in the chat. Thanks to our moderators. I don't think Josh is in here tonight. But I want you guys to really hear their story here. And they're not alone in this. There's struggles out there. And one of the things I want to do is bring community together. And when I heard Rob and Nicole's story, I really wanted to take and I was really led to, I had compassion on, however you want to say it. I really got burdened with their story and how they're in the desert, and that there's these free range cattle, and they've already got how many dollars did you say in just in trees? Not never mind all the work in the dirt work, but just in trees, how much money did you say you had?
About $1,000 worth of trees.
So they have $1,000 worth of trees there that they've already got in the ground. And one of the things that we talked about, Rob and Susan and me, the cows ate their solar panel cables. Their wiring.
I didn't believe Rob. I thought he was telling a story about, and I'm going, yeah, right.
Cows will chew on anything that has a salt taste on it. But I took and I heard their story, and what we have in mind here for Rob and Susan. You guys have all heard their story, and they've got tons and tons of stories here. But what we're thinking about doing this spring, and what we're planning on doing this spring, is going out there if we can get a budget lined up. I'm working, as you guys know. Um, I really love um, uh, Timeless Fence. I love the product. It's easy. It's simpler to build a fence with. It doesn't matter what kind of ground you got. It's just simpler. And we're trying to put together a budget and trying to put together plans right now to go out there and to build Rob and Susan a fence. And what we'd like to do, it's just as easy to build 1,000 foot of fence as it is to build 500 or 400, however you want to put it. You still got to have four corners. You still got to have gate posts. It's just a matter of a few more posts, a few more feet of wire. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to take and get this together, and we're really looking for support from folks who can come out. And it's called Timeless Mel or Gary. I'm not sure who's on tonight. Timeless Fence. You guys can go back to our very first video, some of them, and we talk about Timeless Fence. It's an electric fence, and we want to get out there, build them a fence. I'm working with Timeless Fence right now to try and get the best price. So we really want to take and get out there, bring. Oh, it's both of y'all. All right. We want to get enough folks out there so that we can get the most amount of fence done in the least amount of time. And I've been talking with Gary and Mel, Simple Life Reclaimed, and they're on board. I don't know who else would be on board. And if you don't have, if you don't have the time, if you don't have the, the ability, I understand. RG says I'm down for it. If you like help, yes, that's what we're looking.
Thank you.
That's what we're looking for. And we would love to take and have just people come out. You can learn something. We can kind of do a symposium. You guys can learn about Timeless Fence, learn about how to hook up an electric fence on the desert, and we can have a meet and greet. We can share stories, and we can just have a party.
Make a whole weekend.
We want to make a whole weekend of it and kind of share in everybody's experience and get them a fence built so that they don't have to worry about their trees anymore, and they're not going to have to worry about predators coming in. We can take and set them up with enough know-how once we get the main infrastructure in, that later down the road they can put up enough strands that they don't have to worry about their chickens. They can turn their chickens out in the yard. That's how good Timeless Fence is. So these are some of the things that we're talking about for Rob and Susan. And we're really wanting to take and get folks on board. We're going to be planning this week and in weeks to come with Rob and Susan about dates and everybody else. My email, everybody I think has my email. Wood TNN. We can't barbecue the cow. Okay? We're not barbecuing the cow.
We can barbecue something else. Don't barbecue the cow.
Homestead Witchery. I came in late. Where is this happening? What's the name of your guys' place, Rob and Susan? Golden Valley.
We don't share that outwards very often, but I think our secret after almost 3 years is out. We're in Golden Valley, Arizona.
Okay, so
yeah, it's a wonderful place.
Homestead Witchery. That's where it's at. It's between Kingman and Bullhead City. So it's not wouldn't be safe free range actually. That is true. There is owls and hawks. But we want to take and we want to build community. We want to get down there and do some stuff. And like I said, I've got more and more people reaching out to us. We're not barbecuing the cow. We like these people, okay? They're good. They're good neighbors. Dang. But I've got more and more people in the homesteading community that need help, that are wanting help, and you know, knowledge is only good if it's shared, and that's what we're about, and we can learn from each other. Let me tell you, I don't have all the answers. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I've lived a lot of life, and you know, I can learn something from just about anybody, even if it's the wrong thing to do. I know how not to do it. But we really want to get together and take and get this fence built for you guys. Um, if it's the weekend, I may not be able to go depending on the work. But my husband might. Okay, yeah, we're looking at a Friday, going up there on a Friday, getting there on Friday night, working a Saturday, Sunday, and then leaving on a Monday night. So we'll be there, you know, at least altogether about 3 days. I can leave out pretty early. It's $2,500 for killing a cow in free range area. There you go. What else? Yeah, just contact me and give me your email. That way I can just do a group email and let everybody know about the dates, and I'll be you know, taking it and getting with Rob and Susan, and we'll be talking back and forth, and everybody will be in the loop and know what's going on. Our first thing is the budget. We've got to get a budget worked out, and we've got to get people there. So we're looking at Mel. We're probably looking at possibly the second week of April. If that doesn't work, let us know.
That's good.
We've just got to take and work out these dates. So there's RG's. So we're looking at the second week of April coming out there, but we've got to get a budget together. And like I said, I'm still working with Timeless Fence on what that's all about, and we've got to get a final count on the footage as soon as we can for the exterior of the property. But that's the homestead in peril, folks. Anytime you have something coming against your homestead, um, like a cow, like a predator, that's peril. Peril is defined as anything that takes and causes you harm. So
it could wipe us out, literally.
Yeah, I mean, any money lost is money lost. I mean, you can't take and you know, you can't take and say possible weekend of the 10th. Then okay, yeah, possible weekend of the 10th sounds good.
Well, we want to stay away from Easter weekend.
Yeah. When is Easter weekend?
I don't know.
I don't have my. Is that Easter weekend, Mel? You've got a calendar in front of you, obviously. I don't know when Easter weekend is.
On an even kill off grid. Ooh, you guys are off grid too. Awesome. I definitely want to subscribe.
That's Easter weekend. That may be tough. Okay, well, then we need to read it. And that's why I'm bringing this to you guys. We don't have everything ironed out. I don't want to set things in stone for people. I want to include everybody, get everybody there. So that's Easter weekend. So maybe we do it the weekend after. Maybe we do it the weekend before. It's all really going to depend on our budget and how soon we can get material there. We can all show up. We don't have any material. We're going to be in trouble. So we've got to take and get that. And that's the weekend after Easter. Oh, is it? I will send to everybody. Email me. Wood, WOODTNN @gmail.com. Easter's on the 5th. So that's the weekend after Easter. So we can still do it. Second weekend. I'm down. RG says he's good. Okay. So before we have a whole lot going on, just realize that the weekend afterwards. Okay. Awesome. I want to tell you guys again. My wife had to step out. She's got to go pick up our son from work. We're going to be giving this crossbow away. Please. Okay. Please do not don't take and go anywhere. We're going to be giving this crossbow away. So out of all the things, Rob, Susan, out of all the things that as far as advice goes for anybody wanting to build a homestead, what would the number one advice be as far as planning goes? What would you take and tell folks?
Well, even before planning, if you're thinking on it and you really want to do off-grid, it'd be really good to find someone like us who lives off-grid where you can actually come out, maybe even stay a week or two or a month and help out and see what it's like. You get to experience that way. A lot of times you can be taking your shower and the water runs out. You know, that's kind of minor unless you got to go run out and turn on the generator to get water.
Most people give up because they didn't try it and they didn't realize at all what they were getting into. They don't realize you become your own water department, your own electric company, your own everything. Everything you have to do for yourself.
Exactly. And, you know, on the one side, that's great being your own water company and your own electric company. The other side of it is what do you do if any of that falls down into the cracks? So in our case, we have a generator. But another expense we didn't know about is later on down the line, we need to get a solar water pump. And something also at the same time when we do that, something that we can physically, manually get the water out of the ground, like a simple pump, something along that line. And because right now we have the generator, but if in an emergency we did not have a way to get propane, we have no way to get the water out of the ground as it stands now. And that's why having the rainwater system, all of that set up, will give us that opportunity to survive and thrive. And thriving is what living off grid is about. We can, you know,
getting rainwater catchment.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, life's too short to just survive and to make do. And yeah, I don't mind having and playing and experimenting and getting new experiences. But when it comes to your water, you gotta have it. When it comes to fencing, if I had known when we put those solar panels in, we would have made sure to have been able to have gotten the fence at that same time. Proper fencing, not just throwing up a solar fence that we thought would be enough.
Would work.
Yeah, that we thought would work. And, you know, we didn't have a clue. Basically, I'm a city girl. I'm learning this stuff. And it's been a great adventure. But my biggest insight is try to live off grid. Even if you do it in your home, you'll get an idea of what it's like if you don't use your electricity. If you know.
One of the things that I always tell people is, if you can take a vacation to the area where you're wanting to go, if for a week, a weekend, whatever, go down there and check it out, and just really research the area. Go talk to the old timers. Go see what they're doing, and go to the people who are not afraid. You know, you go to the old timers; they're not afraid to tell you the truth. They'll tell you straight up. Go and talk to the county. Go down there and talk to them. Go in there, and if you can, camp out there. Check out the area, see what it's like, get a feel for the place. And you know, when you take and you start wanting to go off grid, you've got to plan. I always tell people plan, budget, plan some more. It is paramount that you plan. I've got a budget right here. I've got 3 budgets. I love Excel spreadsheets. I've got tons of them, and I use them daily. And it helps me get it out there in front of me. I'm a visual person. Helps me get it out there in front of me, and I'm not just in the wind. When something comes up, I can say, nope, don't have money for that. Nope, I don't have that in place. Nope, ain't it quite there yet. And it gives me a visual to get me really focused, oriented on what I need to take and accomplish next. What's my next step? And that keeps me motivated as I go. I'm kind of like that one cartoon squirrel. uh, I want to take off and work on something else, particularly when I'm tired of this. But having those spreadsheets, having those goals, even just write them out like I showed before my whiteboard, um, and take and write those things down. It helps you visualize, helps your family visualize, and it keeps everybody motivated. We got some more chats here. I think Nicole asked, where did I get this? Nicole, we got this at Big Five Sports, and they go on sale. You can join their email list, and these are really nice. We bought several of these. I hope everybody's seen the uh, video of this. This is a really cool little weapon, cool little tool. You could take and you could hunt with it. You could take and get rabbits, squirrels. I mean, 10, 12 yards. You're gonna take and do good. You can stalk game with it. So anyway, we're gonna be giving this away. And
you like that?
What's that?
I should do like that little crossbow.
Yeah, these are at Big Five Sports. So if you don't have a Big Five Sports, you can actually buy one online and have them ship it to you. But at any rate, yep, things are getting scary in this world. Deborah says. I'm not sure what else I missed, guys. Sorry, we've been talking. Water, says Deborah. Yes, or whoever it is. Know the area, the weather for over a year before you jump in deep, off the deep end. It's fun. It takes time and the funds to do what you want. Yes, sir. Good to check out what the county. Always check out your county codes before you move. I did a lot of research online, and a lot of stuff can be done online, guys. The internet we are in the age of information. Some of us are lucky and have no restrictions. Yes, the less restrictions, the better. How are the codes in your guys' area there, Rob and Susan?
We can do anything that has to do with agriculture and don't need to do anything.
Oh, awesome. And what county are you guys in? Mojave. Okay, Mojave County there. Cool. I hope everybody can still hear me. It is raining again pretty hard here in the tent, and the wind's starting to blow. So, hopefully everybody can still hear me.
Yeah, we're zoned agriculture and domestic.
Oh, cool. Yeah, one of the reasons that we moved, we bought property in Apache County was it had the less restrictions and still had mountains. We're kind of in the hill country, so we're on the east slope, the east side of the White River Mountains. So we're at 6,600 feet. And I think your guys' elevation is somewhere around 3,000, right?
2,100 right here.
Yeah. So yeah, big difference there. So, we want to thank everybody for being in here tonight again. Rob and Susan, we want to thank you guys for being in here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and give away this crossbow now. You guys feel free to join in. The trivia question is on the crossbow and on the crossbow video. We shot this down on the homestead, 2 different yardages. The first one to answer with both of those yardages, both the distances, wins this crossbow. Hope everybody can hear me there. So there was 2 distances that we target practice with the crossbow. What were those 2 distances? If you watch the video, you should have it. So I'll let you guys take and have a second there. 10 and 15 yards on an even kill gets it. Boom, right there.
Wow, I would have missed it anyway.
On an even kill, the yardage to the cow. We're not killing the cow. On an even kill. Let me take and I'm gonna put my email up here again. On an even keel. Make sure you write this down. Take a screenshot of it. Send me an email with your address. We'll get this shipped out to you in a little while. RG said 10, 15 and 20. No, not 15, 20. But we got everybody give On an Even Keel a round of applause there. Simple Life Reclaims doing it. So they got it first thing there. And it was kind of, you had to watch it, and I'm always listening for numbers, so I thought that'd be a pretty good deal. Just shoot me an email on the Even Keel, and we will get that out to you here in a few days. So I think we're gonna take and I'm just gonna recap here. We're looking at building Rob and Susan a fence around their property. They are basically a homestead in peril. So we're going to take and we're going to go out there as a community. It's not just something that I'm doing. Sorry there, Mel. Your internet's lagging. Sorry about that. But we're going to go out there and we're going to try and build them a fence. We've got to get a budget together, and if you guys want to help out financially, we can set that up too. It's not something that we've discussed at length, but it is something that is open. We can take, and there's a lot of ways to do that. There is GoFundMe. They could set up a GoFundMe page, and you can help out financially. If you know somebody who's wanting to learn, make sure you tell them about this. If they're wanting to learn how to fence, not just off grid, but if they're wanting to learn how to fence and get some of this education under their belt. I've been building fences since I could walk, and I kind of know what I'm doing. I did it professionally, so I can take and I can help you out in that area. It's getting really loud in here. I hope everybody can still hear me. The rain is coming down. So, Rob and Susan, we appreciate you guys sharing your story. We appreciate you guys being our guests tonight. And we want to thank you guys. And hopefully we can get this thing worked out and get all the details hammered out. We can get out there this spring. And I'll send it to you guys, all the details. And appreciate my moderator there. And we're gonna take and we're gonna sign off for tonight. Rob and Susan, thank you guys for being here tonight. I will take and I will give you a call.
Wonderful, thank you. And by the way, we will do some solar cooking and some barbecue on the weekend.
Okay. All right. So.
Thank you.
All right.
Very much.
We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
All right. So I hope everybody can hear me. It's getting pretty loud. The rain's coming down. Rob and Susan are really good folks. They said that they could take and cook for us, do some solar cooking. We're going to have a good time. Make sure everybody bring a cooler. Make sure you bring water. And we're going to take and we're going to try to put this thing together. So good night, everybody. God bless. And we'll see you down the road.